So once you get your RV, there are going to be certain essential things that you need in order to use your RV. Let's start with electric. You'll definitely want to invest in something that protects the oodles of sensitive electronics in modern RVs. Grid power delivery varies by park, day, and sometimes even by hour based on local demand. Protect yourself and at a minimum, utilize a simple surge protector. But realize that there are other electrical issues that can damage items within your RV, and that's where an electrical management system comes into play. Occurrences like low voltage can destroy the internal components of your appliances, but a surge protector does nothing to safeguard your RV against them. There are a few options out on the market, and I'll be sure to put product links examples in the video description. Don't forget about dog bones. These handy little adapters let you plug your RV into different types of outlets and are essential when you need to use a 50 amp rig in a 30 amp power supply, or plug any rig into your home 120 outlets, or if a specific receptacle is loose or malfunctioning. Please note, however, these are simply plug adapters, not converters. You can still only pull 30 amps of electricity through a 30 amp outlet, even if you use a dog bone to plug in your 50 amp RV. If you're dry camping or boondocking, an additional source of power may be necessary. Some options include a generator. I like the dual fuel models as they give me fuel options. An inverter you can connect to your running engine and turn it into an electrical generator. Upgrading battery banks or installed solar can be a lifesaver when you're away from grid power, and portable all-in-one solar systems are becoming increasingly popular. Next up is water. Make sure you have a pressure regulator to keep your incoming water supply at a safe pressure and not adding undue wear to the plumbing fixtures in your RV that could lead to a leak or worse. They're inexpensive non-adjustable regulators and upgraded adjustable ones. Don't let the gauges on the adjustable ones freeze. They'll no longer work and you'll have to replace them. A good quality drinking water safe hose, water filter, and 90-degree elbow will also come in handy to keep your water flowing. Remember that these are the basics. You can absolutely opt for upgraded versions of all this equipment based on your budget, priorities, and how often you'll use them. That 90-degree water adapter is crucial to avoid kinks where the hose enters the RV at the freshwater port, and I found that these quick connects make setup and teardown significantly faster, and I really like the collapsible hoses for our freshwater. I did a video testing the traditional white drinking water hose and some of the collapsible hoses, and I'll put a link to that in the description that you can check out as well. Ultimately, the collapsible hoses are much easier to manage and much easier to store, and they provide equal amounts of performance. There are two things that every RVer should do each time that they leave their campsite. One, bring in your awnings so you don't come back to a destroyed rig because the wind picked up while you were out. And two, turn off the water pressure so if there is a leak that you don't come home to a flooded RV. Accomplish this by either turning off the water at the spigot and or shutting off the power to the 12-volt pump. What goes in must come out. A black tank treatment to liquefy solid waste is essential to keeping your waste system clog-free, and a hose that is separate from your drinking water hose is a good idea to avoid cross-contamination for tank flushing and other all-purpose uses around the campsite. A sewer hose is 100% essential, and this is one place you don't want to cheap out on. A quality hose is absolutely worth the money spent. Just ask someone who's had a cheap hose fail on them while they were emptying their black tank. While not absolutely essential, these wastegate valves that twist onto the termination point of your RV's plumbing are really good idea. Think about this. If that single black tank valve fails, where does all that raw sewage go when you uncap this cover? This inexpensive twist-on valve is a no-brainer for every RV. There's also a glue-on version if you want to tackle a DIY project this weekend. And while you can technically dump your tanks without them, gloves dedicated to waste tanks are a wise decision. While we're on the subject of black tanks, don't spend the extra money on RV-safe toilet paper. Make sure whatever you choose is septic safe and use plenty of water when using the toilet, along with the suggested practice of only dumping your tanks when they're at least 75% full. So if that means that you need to add water before dumping from a 2-day camping trip, make sure you add necessary water to get up to that 75%. I've done a few other things to my RV to improve the waste tank experience, and I'll drop a link to that video in the description box for you to check out as well. If you're finding value in this video, make sure to click the thumbs up and consider following the channel. In addition to all the DIY projects and gear reviews that we've already done in the past, I have some awesome projects coming up soon that you'll want to stay tuned for. Propane is another essential item for RVers. Outside of keeping your propane tanks and systems in good condition, I highly recommend doing some research on installing a gas stop. This little device looks like a tank gauge, but it's not. It shuts off the propane at the source if it detects a catastrophic leak. You can also use it to diagnose minor leaks in your propane system. Honestly, I'm not sure why this device isn't coming standard from the factory, as it can definitely give you peace of mind surrounding your RV's propane system. When it comes to towing an RV on public roads, you want to make sure that you're taking routes that can accommodate your length, width, and weight. RV-safe GPS navigation, whether a standalone unit or something app-based that you can download offline maps, makes route planning much more stress-free. If you like non-digital maps, a trucker's atlas might be helpful as well. Once you arrive at the campsite, the first thing you should check is the electric and the water. Plug in your EMS system and make sure all the lights and warnings are good to go. And then also you have water pressure at the site. Nothing is more of a bummer than leveling the rig, unhooking it from your tow vehicle, or unhooking your toad and then finding out that either the electric or the water doesn't work. So plug in that EMS system and turn on the water, make sure those are good before you do anything in the site itself. But once you've selected a campsite, chalking and leveling your RV are going to be one of the first things you do and are super important both for safety and for comfort. Do yourself a favor and skip the inexpensive plastic chalks. They have an expiration date and you'll eventually have to replace them because they are breaking and brittle. I highly recommend these rubber chalks. These are incredibly durable and heavy enough that they won't get blown away in the wind during a storm. There are several options out there for leveling your rig. Stackable blocks are a modular and lightweight alternative to wood blocks, and you really can't beat the convenience of these ramp-style levelers. Between the wheel and DIY 2x4 stabilizers are the best options for stabilizing your towable RVs, along with kingpin supports for fifth wheels. If you're interested in watching a video on how to make these DIY stabilizers, check out the description below because it's absolutely impressive what some ratchet straps and 2x4s can do to stabilize your towable RV. If you're getting ready to tow an RV for the first time, don't forget that you'll need a fifth wheel hitch or weight distribution hitch for your towable trailer. There are various different models out there and the internet is full of comparisons to find the right gear to connect your specific vehicle with your specific RV. I found that internet RV communities are a great place to research what others have used on similar setups, and you'll find no better online group than over RV Gear Far. It's your online RV base camp and should be the place you go when you want to connect with other RVers. Now don't forget about your tires. Unfortunately, many RVs are still coming with subpar quality tires. Upgrading these to a quality tire from a reputable tire shop can't be stressed enough. Make sure you're checking your tires regularly, both for irregular wear and temperature and pressure changes while towing. A handheld tire pressure gauge and laser thermometer are minimum requirements in my book, with a tire pressure monitoring system being a highly recommended next step. Like, before you decorate anything within your RV, you should have a TPMS system installed, which is as simple as screwing on the sensors and plugging the receiver into your vehicle. A compressor or inflator of some kind is essential to keep your RV and vehicle's tires properly inflated along your travels. Should you find yourself with a blown tire, a 4-way lug wrench or breaker bar and sockets along with some sort of jack are all necessary for putting on a spare tire. Be sure you test each wheel you have on your rig to make sure you have all the correct equipment. Often the vehicle, the RV wheel, and the spare tire carrier all have different sized lug nuts. Finally, here's a bonus item that absolutely blows my mind that we as consumers have to add after an RV purchase, and in my opinion should come standard on even the most budget-friendly RVs. A screen door handle is easily installed and will prolong the life of your screens and make the door much easier to use. That's it for our list of RV essentials. See you on the next one. Happy trails!